All right, so just to start off, where are you guys right now? How are things progressing?
Well, we're to the point where we need to scrimmage. We got to get up and down and let them go a little bit. You can only practice so much, and we got to get the officials in here too, blow some whistles. We try to do a good job of calling fouls, but it's not the same as you get the real guys in there. So get our fans in there. It's really tomorrow's about having our fans get a chance to see our guys, get everybody excited for our season. And but the guys been working really hard. But it's time to let them play a little bit, have some fun tomorrow, and try to get better. Use it obviously to try to become a better team. But it's good. It's going to be good to get out in front of some people.
Has there been one guy yet so far, whether he's a newcomer or somebody back from last year, who's really opened your eye that guy improved or that guy surprisingly?
I don't think so, because I think we got a good team. We got a lot of good players. So right now, I think the best thing I could tell you is we don't have that one guy that's not playing well.
That's good.
So that's a good thing. We don't have anybody that doesn't belong or doesn't fit in. So we've been able to make a lot of progress because of that. But you'll see some differences. Probably the biggest one that people will be Corey DeBerry's. Probably instead of 290, he's 260, give or take 1 or 2 pounds. But it's a big difference for him, and I think it's really helped his reaction time, his endurance, and I think he got a lot of confidence going in the NCAA tournament, and he had a big off season.
Probably something you may have addressed before, but what did these guys show you last year when you weren't around and they were still able to accomplish what they accomplished?
Well, I think last year we had very simple goals. Try to get better and improve all year, because we were completely starting over from losing the seniors we had lost the year before, and they did a great job of that. And we didn't really focus on who was coaching the team. So I think we showed a lot of character last year, and maintaining our expectation levels and ignoring that everybody else thought we were not supposed to win, not supposed to make a tournament, not supposed to win games. And I think the guys showed a lot of character. So I was really proud of them. But that being said, it's time to build on it.
Aside from getting out healthy, which is obvious, what would constitute a good day for you tomorrow?
Well, every day of practice and nobody gets hurt. It's a great day. But I'm looking forward to getting out, seeing some people, and getting our fans in fifth, third, and letting the guys get a chance to get in front of the people and see how they react to that. And hopefully we continue to play with the discipline we've played with in practice when we get some fans out there and we don't try to throw 15 alley-oop dunk passes to Shaq Thomas.
Speaking of Shaq, excuse me, he seems to have finally put on some weight. He looks a lot stronger this year.
Yeah, Shaq is not like the rest of us. It's a struggle for him to put on weight. But he's finally been able to get something to stick to his body. And he's worked hard. He wants to have a big year, and just try to work with him in the offseason about how he can be more effective 10 feet and in. Too many people focus on his perimeter shot. He works hard at it every day. He works hard at shooting with arc every day. It's not like he doesn't know. It's not like he doesn't practice it. But the truth be told, with his athletic ability and the way he can get to the paint with the basketball and the way he can rebound the ball, he can be most effective 10 feet and in, and finishing at a higher rate percentage-wise is what is the key for him.
Sounds a lot like what you told Justin Jackson a couple of years ago.
Yeah, just try to. I think what happens sometimes with young players is they focus on what others think they need to do to be an NBA player, and they lose sight of what they need to do to become an effective player. And I think Shaq's got to the point now where I think he's starting to embrace what he can do well and try to accentuate that instead of focusing on things that maybe are not his strengths. It's very similar to Justin Jackson. So I think he knows it's his last year. Guys tend to listen a little bit more when they know they're running out of time.
Did you emphasize that with him more this year than you have in the past?
Not really. I think sometimes and especially in our sport, sometimes reality, it takes a while to set in for certain guys. It's just the way it is in basketball.
How is he defensively?
Well, I'm concerned with Shaq defensively being taller than most of the guys he's defending with the new rules, where he cannot use his hands. He's got to really use his size and stay away from people. With the new rules, he's got to make sure he keeps his hands off of people. It's never for him. It's not a lack of effort. It's just he defends a lot of guys. In this day and age in college basketball, we're a very big team. We're abnormal, really at 4 positions. Point guard, 3, 4, and 5. Guys are all guarding smaller people. hence the change in our defensive philosophies a lot last year, trying to use our size. Shaq's got to keep his hands off people. I'm concerned about the new rules with him with the hand check. But his effort's always there.
Has he seemed to buy into this new, well, whether it's new or not, into your emphasis?
Yeah, it's not new.
on the basket?
Well, it's finishing better around the basket.
Yeah.
You know, he's always tried to get to the basket. He's struggled at times where he takes way too many acrobatic shots that leave the fans saying, boy, he's a great athlete. He has great potential. You know, potential's for little kids. You know, he's a senior in college. He's got to have production. To have production, you got to shoot with balance, with two hands, and take shots that you can make at a high percentage and shots you can follow, and you got to get to the free throw line. So, you know, I think that's going to be big for him as well, the more he can get to the free throw line. But his rebounding is just as important. It's something I've been relentless about with him for 5 years. He seems to be more in tune to the things this year, which is normal for a senior.
Do you think, I can ask him this, but do you think it helps that he saw what it did for Justin when he?
I think maybe a little bit. I think that the tick-tock of the clock has a lot to do with it.
On a personal note, as a competitor, someone who loves your job, you have to be a little bit excited to lead a team back into the gym again where there's fans and cheering and stakes. I mean, you have to be excited about this moment now.
Yeah, well, you know, you don't take stuff for granted.
Yeah.
You know, but just what I can tell you in general is just, you know, when you go through what I went through, you appreciate just being healthy one day at a time, and you realize that it's not promised. You don't, you know, you think you got your life all planned out, and then something happens to you, like it happened to me last year, and you realize that you have no control,
right.
and you really understand that. You just so you appreciate coaching practice. You know, you appreciate everything, and try to enjoy it a little bit more probably.
You talked about the rule changes. How much emphasis is there on the shot clock and the freedom of movement and the things that they're going to focus on this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think hopefully it'll be an advantage for us, the rule change stuff, because we're a team that's, as you know, we were eighth fewest fouls in the country last year. So we're a team that really tries to teach how to play smart defense without fouling. We don't like giving away free points. So hopefully we're a team that embraces it when some others struggle with it. Yeah, I'm a big believer in you better be prepared. Preparation is everything. So I think anybody that's discounting or discarding what's going to go on, I'm happy they're doing it. We're not. We're working really hard on what we think's coming with the whistles, with whether it's not all defensive whistles. Be a big emphasis this year on screening, especially screens on the ball. With your big guys, they're going to have to make sure they're really set. So just trying to make sure we're prepared. And you know, a guy told me a long time ago, you got to follow the rules and you got to use the rules to your advantage, knowing them and being prepared in everything, in recruiting and coaching. And you know, the better you know the rule book and the more you're prepared for what's going to happen, hopefully gives you a little bit of an edge on your opponent. So we believe in it. That's something we emphasize here. I think it's. I think they're committed to it. They've convinced me that the officials and the NCAA and all the assigners and all the leagues are pretty committed to collusion and sticking with this.
You know, your teams always defend for 40 minutes and always defend every possession, but now the possessions are shorter. Could you even expect more from them on that end because they don't have that extra?
Well, I think it'll be interesting, you know, with how it goes, because there's going to be more possessions. So there figures to be more points. But people, I think it could hurt field goal percentage because you have less time to find a good shot. But that's hence the argument: are more shots better for the game if they're not good shots? But hey, I think you just got to roll with the punches when people are trying to better the game. You just argue again, fighting it and not trying to adjust to it. To me, would be foolish. So hopefully it's an advantage for us on the defensive end.
A couple weeks in, how are the freshmen adjusting to things, and is tomorrow a big step for them in getting into a live scrimmage situation to take the next step?
Again, anytime you can get those young guys out in front of people, it's going to eliminate one step for them to get jitters out, but it's not going to be the same as it will be on exhibition games or on opening night. It's just a process you got to go through. I'm sure they're really excited about tomorrow. It'll be, for me, it's just a kind of, it needs to happen and see how we react to it. But I guarantee you they're pretty excited about it. All three of our freshmen are very, very smart kids, and they have not been overwhelmed with the strategy and the teaching that's been thrown at them to this point. I'm very, very impressed with them, their mental game. The biggest adjustment for them is the speed of the game, the physicality of the game, because the closer you get to the real basketball, the tougher it gets to be effective out there. But intellectually, these guys are really sharp. I'm really impressed with them.